Religious faith is visible everywhere in Scotland, but one particular denomination is back at the heart of yet another political debate. Being one of the largest religious communities in the UK, it is easy to see why Muslims in Scotland might be feeling unnerved.
Thank you very much indeed.
And this is why David Cameron's speech on multiculturalism.
Munich Security Conference, and it's good to speak at a conference that's older than this. Highlights, I think, a significant
Addressing the Munich Security Conference, the Prime Minister has signalled the end of a collective British identity, one that he believes Muslims are isolated
those
from.
on the hard right ignore this distinction between Islam and Islam.
So how do Scots feel about Mr Cameron's remarks? We asked people on the streets of Edinburgh.
It's like a kind of racism. You understand what I mean?
Well, I think they should adopt values, and understand why in the country they're living in, they've got to understand the people, So.
If you want somebody to act more British, how do you define what makes up Britain? Because Britain's made up of 4 quite separate nations, each which have their own quite individual cultural minorities. So I think you'd have to actually define what Britishness meant before you said that somebody had to be more British.
Fiaz McGall is the founder of Faith Matters, a London-based non-profit organisation working to reduce extremism and encourage interfaith relations. In a statement issued to us, he said,
"The Prime Minister mixed some very key topics together in the speech. He rolled into the speech migration, extremism and multiculturalism, and each is unique. There are some overlap areas, but that does not mean lumping them together in a speech on security. What kind of message does this give around multiculturalism? That multiculturalism has made us vulnerable to security threats? Nonsense."
Here in Edinburgh, reactions have been mixed to David Cameron's recent speech about multiculturalism, particularly amongst the Muslim community. The latest report by Faith Matters shows that there's been a dramatic rise in the number of converts to Islam, especially amongst white Britons. Cameron has voiced the need for Muslims to adopt British values, but what does this mean for those Britons who have converted to Islam? I spoke to father of 4, Andrew McGroarty, who converted to Islam 12 years ago. Born a Roman Catholic, he moved away from the faith in his teens, before becoming a Muslim at 26. So why did he decide to convert?
I'd grown up with Muslims, went to school with Muslims, we talked about our faiths, and we had a lot of conversations around what Islam as a religion holds as the tenets of their faith. And from those conversations it sort of ignited a curiosity within me about what Islam had to say about the world and how Islam believes that we should behave as individuals and as a society.
I'm interested to know what Andrew thought of the speech.
Contain equal rights, regardless of race, sex or sexuality. It says to its citizens, this is what defines us as a...
Islam is not about identity. It's really not about identity at all. It's about sort of, getting rid of the shackles of identity actually, and to become a human being and to sort of transcend those cultural stereotypes and identity stereotypes, David Cameron is just sort of like, he's not really helping matters because he's saying that the Muslim community are keeping themselves separate from the rest of society, which is just not true at all. Well, what I believe is that there's no conflict between a British identity and a Muslim identity. The Muslim faith should be the thing that supports your identity in terms of your nationality. There's no conflict because the religion of Islam, the religion of Islam follows the book, the Quran, and in the Quran we're told that we've been put on the planet in different shades and in different tongues so that we may come to know each other, come to a better understanding of who we are.
Andrew married a convert and is raising his 4 children as Muslims. Like their father, they have both Scottish and Muslim names. At least in the McGroarty household, nationality and religion go hand in hand. David Walsh, Edinburgh Napier News.